Hey there, welcome back to Tennille Talks. All right, y'all. So it is Friday, January 31st. This is the second message that I'm posting on this Friday, and it is the last day of January. This is a very different message. I did use cards, but I only used the cards in response to a question that I asked. I asked a question because I had an exchange with somebody. The exchange that I had with this person did something to my spirit, meaning I could feel something. And so I asked the cards, what is it that I'm feeling? Now, this reading has three parts. First, I'm going to confess something about myself. Then I'm going to reflect on a message that I posted on January 29th, 2 days ago. And then lastly, I will reveal what I discovered in the spread that I pulled based on the question that I asked. First thing is my confession. I smoked a roach last night. So I told you guys maybe a couple weeks ago now that I hadn't been smoking. I said that I hadn't been smoking because life did it that way, not necessarily because I chose to, but I definitely recognize the value in me not smoking. And so this has been a commitment that I have kept to myself. Now, when I used to smoke on the lanai. The lanai is like a screened in back porch, but in Florida, it's called a lanai. So I use my candles, like my actual candle, like I have a candle that has a lid on it. And that is where I used to throw all of my roaches when I was done smoking. So last night I went to go sit and pull and to just spend time outside. So since I don't smoke, I don't go out there anymore. So I go out there, I open the candle and I see a roach, and it was a pretty good size. And I thought about not smoking it. Obviously I thought about I thought about smoking it, and then I just decided I'm going to smoke it. Let me tell you something about myself. No, I didn't necessarily feel good that I smoked it. I'm not going to keep smoking. I'm not going to buy weed. Like, I'm still committed to just kind of putting it down altogether. But I needed to confess that to you because some of us are on this accountability journey together. So when I fall off, I'm going to tell you. When I get back on, I'm going to tell you. But I also want to say something to you. When I saw the roach and I wanted to smoke it, I am going to smoke it. One thing I don't do is go to war with myself. I can't carry shame, regret, or guilt. So if I have an impulse, I will follow it. And then I'll just deal with it after. That could be an Aries thing or whatever. But typically, I just don't go to war with myself. So I'm not as happy that I did it, but I did it. And so I just have to tell you that because I know many of us are doing this thing together. That was the first message. My confession, I smoked a roach. It was probably about 3 or 4 pulls, and it was shitty. Like, it wasn't good. Next, here's part 2. So on January 29th, y'all, I posted a message, and you know how I create stories in order to pull out the meat and to make the message stick for all of us. I talked about Nancy Kerrigan and Tanya Harding, right? And I talked about how the reading that I was seeing in front of me was giving me betrayal, right? Somebody attempting to take you out, it being unsuccessful, and they got to watch you win. Y'all, Nancy Kerrigan, I told you at the age of 9, is when I remember that news. I remember it being on the news. 2 Olympic figure skaters, right? One of them set up an attack on the other. Y'all, the next day, I don't know where you guys are in the world, but the next day, I posted that message on January 29th. January 30th, there is a crash in Washington, D.C. between a helicopter and a plane that has 67 people. Well, about 14 or so of those people are U.S. figure skaters. And who is it that is talking about the crash except for Nancy Kerrigan? Y'all, I posted it on the 29th and then on the 30th. Help me make sense of that. How would you decode that? I also want to say something else. So, Baltimore, do you guys remember when that bridge went down in Baltimore? A lot of the societies that are across the world, they are connected. And I recognize that when events that happen that seem random, they're not random at all. This is how they communicate to each other to essentially say, Mayday, Mayday, right? And so when the bridge went down in Baltimore, when the plane crashes like it did on January 30th, obviously whenever there are casualties, we send out condolences and prayers and love. But y'all, there is a darkness under everything. There is always something hidden, and help me make sense of that. What I'm saying is when events like that happen, they are not random. They are messages. They are bigger messages. It is a language. It is a language that is being communicated, but it is being communicated by way of chaos, by way of catastrophe, by way of accidents and loss of life. That is a language. It is a form of communication. And the day before something was communicated, I mentioned very similar energy. I mean, y'all, help me make sense of that. All right, that was part 2 of the message. Now here's part 3. We're going to have to do call and response because I can't really say everything that I want to say directly. So if I say tantric, you say, right? Tantric blank, tantric blank. Okay. So that is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about tantric sex, which is not a bad thing. So when I say T, that is for tantric. When I say S, that is for sex. Now, the next word I'm going to say, I cannot say. It makes me extremely uncomfortable, but I will give you some clues, okay? Now, I like to shop for my kids at the Children's Place. The Children's Place used to be a popular store in the mall. Most people don't go to malls anymore, but Amazon pretty much has a Children's Place store on their website. So I still get a whole bunch of my stuff at Children's Place. Now, the C in children, I need you to just give me that C. Take off the C. T-S, I already told you what T and S are. T-S with C. Do you understand what I'm saying? T-S with C. This is the third message. This is why I know I have to post this today. So here's the thing. I got an energy and I asked a question. I wanted to know why I was feeling what I was feeling and what is the background of the communication that came into me today. So I'm going to lay it out as best I can. The High Priestess is essentially the last stop that people get to before they enter hell. Now, hell is a reflection of your behavior and your choices. When the High Priestess starts talking about certain energies, if it sounds like the High Priestess is describing you in any way, I want you to know that the High Priestess is actually preparing you for the hell that you are about to walk into. And so a lot of people want to attack the High Priestess because they don't like the message they're giving. But what they don't understand is that the message is in alignment with their behavior, with their choices. And so when you start to hear me speak of a message that relates to you, when I want you to know that I am preparing you for your judgment. Okay? Now, High Priestess, essentially, what do? They expose the hypocrites. We have above and below. A High Priestess can see the things that are hidden, the things that are felt, the things that are unspoken, that, your thoughts, your intentions, your feelings, your emotions. All of those things are dark. Nobody can see them or touch them. But when you cross paths with the High Priestess, none of that shit is hidden. And so if you are a hypocrite, if you are leading one life above ground, but living another life underneath ground, when you cross paths with the High Priestess, it will be revealed. There are no secrets. And so when I say to you that the High Priestess is your last stop before the hell that you have chosen, right? That is your last stop. A lot of people want to take out the priestess. Why? Because they want to silence the priestess. Listen, to silence me doesn't mean that your hell is any further away. Right? Me not talking doesn't change the condition of your life. Okay? In this reading, there is a High Priestess who is describing the hell that the hypocrites are preparing to go to. Now, one of the ways that they think that they can stop their hell is by silencing the High Priestess. I see that there is a dark group. We will just call them a dark family. There is a dark family that is attached to wealth. But y'all, all money ain't good money. That is the name of this reading. All money ain't good money. So there's a dark family who has a lot of wealth, but they got it the wrong way. The family got their wealth because of T-S with C. Now, this doesn't mean that the group themselves engage in this, but they at least run this type of operation. Do you understand me? In order to stop the High Priestess, this dark group or this dark family employs a couple. We can just say that this couple is married. Now, it seems like the contract between the dark family and the couple, it entered by way of the wife. The wife is coming out as an empress, but attached to the energy of this empress is copycat, which tells me this is a dark empress. This could be a dark high priestess, or this could just be an empress in a reverse. Somebody who is a woman, a mother who this is like the terrible mother, right? But this is somebody who doesn't use light, they use darkness. So we have a wife that is walking around in the copycat energy of a high priestess. Right? This is a copycat. This is somebody that is a hypocrite. They are living one way above ground, but beneath them, the darkness that they are a part of is disgusting. And so that is the wife. The husband of this dark duo is the one that acquires his wealth, his stability, and his finances because he has TS with C. Do you understand? So this is essentially like, let me tell you, a lot of time, so you've got this dark family. First of all, people can't market their dark businesses the way they can market Walmart, Target. Like they just can't put commercials and ads on TV. And so one of the ways these dark groups or these dark families find clients to participate in their businesses is because they have entity attachments. Have you ever been around somebody and they're speaking and it seems like everything they're saying is touching on something that you've been holding within you, a secret, a soft spot, a wound? Have you ever been around those people? And you know that those people aren't pure. You know there's something about them isn't pure. A lot of times people like that have an entity attached to them, and that entity can see the darkness that is in you. And so when those people are talking to you or engaging in conversation, they are really trying to open up and trigger the wounds in you. But they only know the wounds are in you because they're carrying a dark attachment that can see that level of darkness. And so the demon that they carry can see the demons in you. And then so when the human that is carrying the demon starts to talk to you, it is really talking to you. So they'll be like, let's say that in your own life, you went through a divorce. Your wife moved away. She stole the money. You lost your storage unit. Let's just say everything that happened in this one person's life is eerily similar to what you went through. And so as they're explaining their life, they're touching on all of your traumatic moments, right? But this is a random person that you just crossed paths with. So it kind of doesn't make sense, right? But it's almost like they're exposing you by pulling things out of you. And the reason why they're doing that is because they want to energetically connect to you. This is how people start to bully you. This is how you bully the high priestess. This is how you bully people that can see in the dark. You use dark attachments. You use dark attachments to reveal the wounds that they themselves are carrying. Now, that is one of the ways, I guess, that you can silence a high priestess, because I guess you can bully the darkness that they carry. So if you have not healed, you are more likely to be bullied by the demons and the darkness that you yourself are carrying. Well, this is also how dark groups and families find clients to engage in their dark business. They use entities. So let's say that I'm carrying around lust. Let's say that I'm carrying around the energy of greed. Well, the entity on me is going to tell me that you're a good client because you're attracted to underage children. And then the entity is also going to tell me that your wife is greedy and she'll do anything for money. She'll do anything for acceptance. She'll do anything for validation. And so now as a married couple, this family, this dark group has realized that y'all are going to be some bomb ass clients. They can make a lot of money with you and off of you, right? And so TS with C is how the husband has been generating his wealth and stability. When he does TS with C, this is how he expects to gain his financial abundance. The wife, her kickback is that she gets to walk around like an empress, even though she isn't. Right? And so when you're in business with this family, first they're going to pull you in because they're going to find the wounds in you. They are going to find your darkest secrets, your most disgusting desires, right? And the entity on them is going to touch it and pull it. Once it has it, they have you. And so now when they tell you to go out and attack the high priestess, you will. Why? Well, the wife doesn't want to lose the mask. The wife doesn't want to lose the validation. And the husband doesn't want to let go of all the money he's been making off of the TS with C. Do you understand? And so now these people have been getting money, but all money ain't good money. They don't want to lose their money. And so I see that there is a family, or there is a dark group that employed a married couple. But the problem is that when they sent the married couple to the high priestess was ready and prepared, which means you couldn't bully. You couldn't bully the priestess, because the priestess healed, the priestess did her work. Do you understand? Let's talk about envy. Longing to possess something awarded to or achieved by another. Envy. Listen, high priestesses are envied because they can see in the dark, which means there is nothing that you can hide when you cross paths with a priestess or a priest. And so some people envy the fact that you have this gift. Some people envy the fact that you have this ability. And so if people want to continue with their dark business, if they want to continue making their dark money and wearing their masks, well, then a high priestess is essentially fucking up the church's money. And so the same people that are benefiting and essentially the clients of these dark businesses also become the attackers. They become the hitman, right? So they'll let you participate in TS with C, and they'll let you make money. They'll let the wife benefit off of what appears to be divine feminine energy. And then after y'all get nice and comfortable with the money and the energy that you've been given, now they're going to send you on assignment, and they're going to tell you to go attack and bully a high priestess, right? But you get to have an entity attached to you. And so when you attack her with her darkest wounds, with her darkest anything inside of her is what you got to pull on to weaken. This is how spiritual people are bullied, which is why when you heal, you become the assassin, because they're still going to come. But when they come and they start firing shots and trying to tether to you, nothing is going to take hold because you've done the work. Right now, I'm talking about right now. You can hear the words coming out of my mouth, and this is what is happening right now. This couple is in regret. They are in regret because they're like, fuck, we should have never worked with this family. Why should they have never worked with the family? Because the high priestess was ready, because the plan was always going to fail. So when I say that the high priestess is preparing you for hell, meaning y'all didn't know that when you got to the high priestess, she was just signing you up and telling you where your room was in Satan's hallway. Like y'all were already going to hell. And so this family, who must have already have been down and out and losing, sends somebody in essentially to be a sacrifice, to test the temperature, to see what the high priestess is made of. But the couple that are the clients of the dark business, first and foremost, those that were sent in to attack the priestess, they didn't know that the priestess was prepared and ready. They didn't know that they were essentially checking in for hell, getting their uniform, taking off all their personal belongings. However you get ready for hell, I won't know. But y'all know right now. Y'all know where y'all are going. Right now you know this. High priestess, they envy your night vision. And so somebody came into you thinking that they could see your darkness better than you could see your darkness. But you had already made peace with everything that was inside of you. Y'all, this is giving me a feeling. You know, I told you for the past 2.5 or so years, I've been living in a home with family members. And I started to recognize the ways that they like to attack you, just like I'm describing you, how there's an entity that can read the darkness in you. Y'all, as a little girl, I was sexually molested by my stepfather. That is a wound that is inside of me. Now, I can say that to you and I can feel absolutely nothing because it is a part of my story, but I'm not wearing it, meaning it's in my mind, but it is not in my heart, in my spirit, or in my soul. And so I can say it with ease, right? And I'm just at peace because what was done to me is not a reflection of me. That is the sickness that was in somebody else that they projected onto me when I was vulnerable, when I was a child, when I was innocent. I am not responsible for what a sick adult did to me. So for me to carry that weight, no, somebody else got to carry that. Right? I was the projection. I was the outlet for the projection. So for the past 2 or so years, my family has been trying to weaken me, play against my wounds, play against the darkness that is inside of me. One of the things that happen is a piece of mail showed up at the house that I'm at right now. Now, one of the objects that everybody used in this house was the printer. There was a piece of mail that showed up to the house and it had my stepfather's name on it. Now, why did the mail show up to this house with this address with his name on it? And so the mail was placed on top of the printer. And it stayed there for a period of days. Now, y'all, I've already done my work and I've already healed. And so when I saw the mail, I understood that it was trying to trigger me. It was trying to pull me back into a space where I was weak. I was vulnerable. I was abused. I was afraid. I was scared. I am none of those fucking things anymore. Right? And so what people don't know is that when you are trying to pull and trap me, y'all, I swear at this point, anybody that wants to attack me, y'all just need to call me and ask me if it will be successful. Like, you really just need to say, hey, Tennille, so we're trying to slow you down and we kind of came up with a plan and we're thinking we should try it this way. Like, you literally need to ask me for my advice because I am that fucking solid. Okay? Like, y'all just ask me. But y'all, I don't want to play no games now because listen, some of this spell work that they send is so fucking good that you will be in the room with them plotting on your own life. Like, you, meaning the illusion, the projection is so strong that you're believing it. You hate you. You become your worst enemy. And now you want to take yourself out. So some of the stuff they send is fire. It is fierce and it works. But when you heal, when you no longer are worried and in fear and threatened by the illusions or the wounds and the scabs, when they send it to you, it won't stick. You understand, it can only stick if you haven't removed the residue of the experience or of the pain. Y'all, I don't have no residue. In my mind, I carry every memory, but there's no residue on my soul or on my spirit. And so for a few days, I see the envelope with my stepfather's name sitting on the printer and I say nothing. I say nothing because I had to ask Spirit. I essentially had to have a conversation with Spirit. Then, because I know Dusty Grandma, she's listen, these people done kicked her to the curb. Do you understand? Like, I know my grandma has been coming at me for the past 2.5 years, trying to do whatever she was trying to do, right? But like, y'all ain't got to treat her like that. Like, I got to feel bad for her now. Like, y'all, for real, like, y'all ain't got to do her like that, right? Anyway, these people are ruthless. Anyway, so the mail is on the printer, okay? And I said to her, I said his name, I read his name and I said, oh my God, he has mail here. Did anybody tell him that he has mail? What if it's important? He may need it. Y'all, I was just so loving and caring and accommodating. I was like, well, I think y'all should reach out to him. He lives pretty far away. Like, what if it's something important? You should probably, right? I just did the opposite. Now, I don't know what they wanted me to do. I don't know what they thought I was going to do. But the most powerful thing I have inside of me is love. And so when you bring me hate, when you try to bring me darkness, I will match you with my fucking love. It's not going to work. I don't carry the residue. I have healed. What I'm telling you is this is how they find their clients to participate in their dark business. But this is how they attack the high priestess. They set up things, right? Because they can only get to you through your gates, through your ears. Maybe you hear something, right? And so when I got a message a few weeks ago and it was the voice of my earthly father, who I have blocked for years, right? I knew they wanted to get in my ear gates, right? Well, I don't read these people's messages. I don't text them. I've closed my eyes to them. And so this is how people access you in order to attach. They are hoping and praying that there's residue, that there is residue from a wound, that there is something that they can tether themselves to. Yes, and so you must do your healing. Means when you look, y'all, my son Easton is next to me and he's peeing. So yes, if you hear toilet and pee, he totally is peeing. Y'all, do the work. Wash off the residue, which doesn't mean you necessarily forgive or you're fine with what took place, but the power that it held on your heart, your soul, your spirit, and your emotions, that's not there, okay? There's a couple that is in regret that they worked with this family. They're in regret because this man is recognizing that he was expecting finances. He was expecting money. But he didn't get what he was expecting because the high priestess was ready, which means you couldn't bully her. You couldn't weaken her. You couldn't hide from her. You couldn't attack her. You couldn't say or do anything to her that stopped her from revealing and preparing you fools for hell. Okay? Now the wife was, and the fact that the family made the agreement with the wife first was totally giving me the whole Eve and Adam thing, right? Like, just like the serpent made its way into the garden by way of Eve, you know what I'm saying? Like, I kind of got that energy. But do you know that these people right now are fasting and praying? They're fasting and praying because somebody is going to jail. They absolutely understand that jail is next. Now, I don't know if the wife is going to jail. I don't know if the husband is going to jail. I don't know if the dark family is going to jail, but I do know the high priestess is not going to jail. Do you understand? So they have conflict. They have jail. These people are concerned about what's coming next. Imagine standing on the dock and seeing a boat come in. And you know when that boat docks, that whatever gets off that boat is taking you to hell. That is what these people are watching. They are watching a ship approach the shore. It is at a distance. And they know that when it docks, it is coming for them. And they know because the priestess is talking. Because the bullying was unsuccessful. It was unsuccessful because the priestess was prepared. The priestess was ready. Y'all, this is happening real time, and I want you to believe that this is happening real time. Now that I know how this thing is kind of working, y'all, maybe I got some new gifts. I want you to listen to me. For weeks, I was doing my own readings, and the one card I kept getting was new moon, new moon, new moon, new moon. Now, of course, me being me, I'm childlike. I always think, oh my God, a car is going to drop out of the sky. A house is going to drop. Oh my God, am I going to get a check for $10 million on the new moon? Like, that's where my mind goes. No, but it was on the new moon that I dropped the Nancy Kerrigan message. And then it was the next day that we see, y'all, what is that about? What is that about? And today I get an email, right? I get an email, a text, and a phone call. Y'all, I'm telling you, let me tell you something about my gift. When you send me somebody, I can tell who is behind the person, meaning if you write me, talk to me, call me, I know why you're there. I know who's behind you, and I know why you're doing it. Y'all, this thing is getting fierce. I think you better back up. Like, I think you should back up. And if you don't back up off of me, that's okay, because I'm comfortable with preparing you for hell. I'll show you where your room is. I'll give you the blankets and the pillow. I'll help you out. Listen, I will help you. I want this to be a comfortable transition for you. And so trust that I'm going to do my part. Y'all, people know that when this boat docks, it is game over. So now everybody that was grateful for the money, all money ain't good money. Let me tell you something else about that. When I first got to this house, my earthly father called everybody in the house within 5 minutes that had a cell phone, right? And so I got the energy of being chased, of being bullied, somebody essentially saying, I know where you are, I can reach it, because at the time my phone was cut off, right? And so I got the energy of somebody chasing me, letting me know, I know where you are and I can reach everybody close to you, right? That is the energy I got. Hold on, Issa, give me 1 second. And then so when he calls everybody, after he has a conversation with my dusty grandma, she says to me, well, he said he'll give you some money to get your phone back on. You better take the money. And do you know what I said to her? I said, all money ain't good money. And I didn't take anything. I never talked to him. Like, I already knew what time it was. Y'all, if people would just have listened to me when I spoke to them the first time, they would not be playing the game that they are playing right now. Like, I said what I said for a reason. There was never ego. There was never ego. It is out of the love, right? I would hate to see what you look like when I prepare you for hell. So I don't want to prepare you for hell. So please don't choose hell now, right? Because every choice you make, it's either going to take you there now or you're going to go to heaven, right? Heaven and hell, these are conditions of the mind. These are conditions of the heart. You don't have to leave earth to be in hell. You don't have to leave earth to be in heaven. Whoever is about to go to jail, this is your hell. All right. I love y'all. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.